You guys, today I'm doing a video on what really my story is, how I got into self-improvement, and maybe give you reasons why you should as well. So I was just kind of like the average teenage loser. All I did was watch YouTube and play League of Legends like all day. And when I say that, I literally mean that's all I did. When I was younger, when I still was like this, I at least had some activities. I would go to jiu-jitsu in the day, and I had a paper run, so at least I was being active. And I had at least 3 hours through my day doing something else. But when COVID kind of started and I stopped doing these things, going to the gym, I stopped going to jiu-jitsu, I stopped doing my paper run, all I did was play games and watch YouTube. And everyone says this, but I don't know if everyone actually did what I did. I would wake up, go to my computer, it would be like 1-ish, 12 to 1 p.m. I would go to my computer, sit down, just fall onto my chair and just be consumed by media and whatever. I had a really low self-esteem because I knew that this wasn't a good thing. I knew that I wasn't proud of what I was doing and what I was. I always had like these goals, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. They weren't really goals because I never even had a plan of how I was gonna do anything. They're more just like useless dreams. I always wanted to be a streamer. I wanted to stream League of Legends, but I never wanted to because I was living at my grandparents' house and I was in a room full of all my siblings because at the time we couldn't find a house to stay at, so we all had to stay at our grandparents' house, and I had to share rooms with my siblings, so I didn't have any private space to do anything. So that also kind of took a toll on me, was having no privacy. So I had no goals, I had no mission, I had nothing going for me. And then the lowest point came in my life, which was about 2 years ago from now. That was when the person I was with broke up with me, and it wasn't really a real relationship because we were just 14, right? But for some reason in me, I just had this really bad attachment. Maybe it was because I literally had nothing going in my life. Like I said, I was a loser. And it makes sense why they would want to leave me, because I literally had nothing. Every day I did the same thing over and over, and I had no ambition. And so after that, that's when things really went downhill. I don't know if I had some weird attachment issue, but this was like, this took like a year and a half for me to start getting over it. And this was basically just kicking the dead horse, or whatever the saying is. And so for the next long time, all I did was, again, wake up and do this stuff, but I stopped taking care of myself. I stopped showering as often, I stopped eating as often, and I developed a really bad acne problem, and that just made my self-esteem even worse, because now I hated how I looked, and I hated how I felt, and I hated who I was. But for me, fortunately, I don't know if this has just been drilled into me when I was a kid, but I've always had the it's gonna get better attitude. So I never didn't think this was gonna get better, although maybe it was just me coping, but I've always had this feeling that things are gonna get better, even if I'm not working towards anything. And so eventually I said enough is enough, and I started taking care of myself again, sort of. And so it was just one thing where I just started taking care of my skin because I just wanted to get that done with. And this was one of the most embarrassing things, because we started going to jiu-jitsu again when the lockdown stopped in here in New Zealand, and we started going again, but I had to stop for a month to clear my skin because it would keep breaking when we were at training and I was bleeding everywhere. So that sounds kind of graphic, so I hope you're not envisioning that. But so I had to leave for a month and come back, and so at least I had one thing going for me again. I started going to jiu-jitsu. I was enjoying it again. I actually started doing things. My skin was getting better, and I actually started going outside more. Me and my brother had some friends at jiu-jitsu, and we were going outside and going adventuring and doing things. And this was something that was really uplifting for me. And then this kind of all stopped, and I fell back into kind of just the repeat of days. In February of 2021, I got this chest surgery, which basically debilitated me for a couple months, where I couldn't do much physical activity. And this again just kind of left me in that cycle of, I was always sitting down, so I always was just watching something or playing a game on my computer, and I was doing nothing again. I couldn't do any activities. I couldn't go to jiu-jitsu. I couldn't do much really, and I kind of stayed like that. I went back to jiu-jitsu once, and I kind of realized that it just wasn't the same as it used to be. My club was really different, and it just didn't have this energy. It didn't have the same vibe. It wasn't the same, so I stopped going. And so now it's left me with no physical activities, and yeah, back to square one again. Then I started going to the gym just to gain a little bit of my strength back from my surgery, because I wanted to start doing more physical things. So I started going to the gym. I don't know what this would be around. It was like about mid 2021 now. I really wasn't into it that much. I wasn't focused on the long term. I was not seeing results, so I was kind of getting a little bit saddened at that, I guess, and I just didn't have my heart in it. So we stopped going, and there was another lockdown here, so we couldn't go anyways. I kind of stayed in this limbo again of wanting to do something to improve myself, but just not being able to. I didn't have any goals. I didn't know what to do until about February 2022. And this is when I realized I'm gonna go all in the gym. I saw someone on Instagram who had just like my peak physique that I wanted. This gave me a goal to work towards, so I started going to the gym seriously again, and ever since then I haven't stopped, and this has become one of my favorite things in my day. And so now at least I was doing something in the day. Early on, late February to March is when I started watching videos by Hamza. I first saw him on a clip from a podcast from this YouTuber that just randomly got recommended me about NoFap, and I was like, Akuma, so I really needed to know. I need to know what are these guys' thoughts on it. and so I just didn't think anything of it, and just went on. And then about a week or two later, I started, and he kept popping up more and more in my recommended, so I started watching some of his videos. And this is where it kind of clicked for me of what I've needed to do for the last 2 years on how to improve myself. And so, starting in the month of March, that's when I started doing full self-improvement with meditation, with gratitude journaling. Here I can find the first page. It was 11th of March is when I started doing gratitude journaling. And I've done that almost every day since then. This is when I started taking time off of technology and computers. I did a dopamine detox, and that's kind of where it all started. And so I've been meditating, reading, and I used to hate reading, but like this really is a skill. You can know how to read, but you can't. So many people can't read with their full attention on what they're reading, and so I've kind of learnt to do this now, and I've really come to enjoy reading. And so I'm reading every day, meditating every day, gratitude journaling every day, going to the gym every day except for my rest days. I'm the happiest I've been in my life. This is the most at peace I've been in my life, but I'm also reaching for more. I want a lot more than where I'm at. I want to do this. I want to gain a lot more for my family. That's kind of what I've put on myself, is I'm doing this for my family. I'm bettering myself for my family, and I want to make a living for my family. And all this hope and all these goals and my mission has all come from self-improvement, and I can't thank Hamza enough for introducing me into this. And this is my hope, is to maybe help some more people get onto this, and maybe some people can relate to me and resonate with what I'm saying, and maybe they were just like me, and I can help them get onto this, rejecting the modern technology and rejecting the modern junk food and rejecting all this stuff and living more natural. And so now I just want to say why you should start, and if it's not already obvious enough of why you should from my personal experience, then I'll just say the one thing you need is to take a holistic approach to this, because a lot of people will just do one thing, and you have to start somewhere, right? But my advice would be to do everything. It would be to meditate, to exercise, to gratitude journal, to just do normal journaling, improving your diet. All these things combined is really what makes the difference. And you just have to start small. Rome wasn't built in a day. You've got a lot of years in your life to do this, and like I was saying in my last video, you just gotta slow everything down. You gotta take every day, day by day, and take everything in, and let the music play. I truly hope that if you're not on self-improvement already, you will, because this is the best thing that will happen to you. It'll make you the most happiest you'll ever be. So yeah, thanks guys.